Good afternoon, everyone watching. I am Matula Kasamba from Rephidim STA, and today I'm privileged to be joined by Elder Chembo from Sekelela STA Church in Lusaka West, of which we are going to discuss things to do with communication. How has communication been in the Adventist Church, and how it has helped in spreading the word of God? Elder Chembo, you are welcome.
Thank you very much, Kasamba.
Thank you. To begin with, who is Elder Chembo? Can you tell us more about yourself?
Elder Chembo is the son of a peasant farmer, and grew up somewhere in Central Province. But I went to school. I was very privileged to go to one of the best schools in Zambia at that particular time, Kablonga. Just before it came Kablonga, it was called Gilbert Training. So it was one of those high schools. So after my education, I had a lot of passion to be a journalist. You know, as young, believe you me, the reason why I wanted to be a journalist, because each time I could watch Charles Muyama then reading the news on TV, I'd like to do the same thing.
Okay.
Then there were some young guys, you know, they would come for some function, they would just have their notebooks, you know, the back of their pockets. I said, I also want to be part of it. I actually had that passion. To the extent that when I was doing grade 12, I opened a page. It was just handwritten, at which I would, you know, just write a few things here and there and then post them. But one of them got me into serious problem. One of the lecturers, one of the teachers, I think it was from Australia, he was swimming and almost drowned. So I took note of that, and then the following day I didn't tell the board, no, it wasn't very happy. But I was happy because for me it is something that brought a reaction, which means that at least what I was doing was something that needed to bring a reaction from the higher person as a teacher. So that's how after that I went to college, Ignorant College. After Ignorant College, I started working, and then as a reporter. I went to college, Ignorant College.
You never had things to do with, let's say, social media such as phones. I've just heard you say you were using those pins. You do a written information.
We were actually using a notebook.
Okay.
And in those days, you could be taken to court, but if you showed the magistrate that you use the shorthand, it would be admitted. Okay. So if you the president in those days, counter used to talk fast. You have to write everything using your hand. That is a print media, not journalists, not those broadcasters as well.
Okay.
In fact, even them, they didn't have what we call now sound bites. It was just a reported speech. Okay. So it doesn't matter. Sometimes counter would speak for 7 hours, write for 7 hours. Yes, then from there transcribe, and then you write a story. So that's how it was those days. There was nothing like phones. There was nothing like nothing.
Okay.
It was just direct.
So I have seen some of the magazines that you wrote in the Adventist Church. So does it mean that you became a journalist for the Adventist Church, or you were a journalist? What happened? Are you a journalist? Did you become a journalist for the SDA Church, or what?
No.
Okay.
Like I told you, I joined journalism just out of excitement. After I left the school, believe it or not, the first job I did, I was assigned to go and work for what you call ZANIS now. Yes. Zambia Information Services. That was what it was called then. So before I could go, it was supposed to be Livingstone. I was supposed to be district information officer immediately after I completed school. That's how we were privileged those days. So what happened, while I was waiting to be deployed there, they took me to a place called Longacres Lodge. Okay. I was there for 3 months, free food, free breakfast, free everything. So I got bored. So one day I walked into ZNBC. I said, I want a job as a broadcaster. So I wanted to broadcast in English. But I found a Mr. Martin who said, no, young man, since yourself you are even qualified, all those guys you see in the vernacular, none of them is qualified. So why don't you get vernacular so that you can be promoted quicker? I said, fine. So I even began to read news in Tonga.
Wow.
But one day as I was coming out, I found a guy called Charles Mande, was the greatest interviewer we had in this country. So I said, you which agenda time? That's how I left. And I went back to my job now as a journalist, for Zambia Information Services. I didn't work very long there. Then from there I went to do a newspaper called National Mirror. It was an independent newspaper. I rose through the ranks from a reporter until I became editor-in-chief, and I was editor-in-chief for 7 years. Then afterwards, I went, joined a new organization called MISA. I started the Media Institute of Southern Africa. So I was the first chairperson. I was the first national director. From there, I retired from there.
Okay, so earlier on, I have seen some magazines that you have written that are for the Seventh-day Adventist Church, like the activities that have been happening. So how were you managing doing your other job and also working for God in making sure that the gospel is spread?
To spread the gospel. As you may be aware that I'm an evangelist, I like to talk on the book, but I also felt there was a need for the work of the church to be known. So that's how I instituted that magazine. I can't remember what was it called, but the magazine that we had.
Evangelist.
Huh?
Evangelist
Actually,
magazine.
it was called Evangelist.
Yes.
It was called Evangelist. We wrote stories about Rephidim and so on and so forth. I started that thing. I don't want to boast, but I sponsored the first publication.
Okay.
Yeah, because I thought it was good. And when it became known, I think people kind of bought into the idea. So that's how it was. That's a passion. But it's not the first one. I was also at one time competed. I was one of the board members of Maranatha for a very long time. When I was in Lusaka East, or in Lusaka itself, I was also one of the editors for one of our newsletters there. So I've been very much involved in the church activity.
So wonderful to hear. Looking at our church, Elder Chembo, we've got a lot of young people who are involved in communication, especially in the church. And looking at the media platforms that we have, you'd find that maybe someone has passion to spread the word of God through the media, but then they find themselves being entangled with other things. So our generation is quite different from the way you lived in the past. So with such kind of youths who really have that passion, but in the long run they are taken away by other things, what would be your advice in encouraging them to use the platforms that are available to spread the word of God?
During our time, what I mean by during our time, when we were growing up, we didn't have the privilege of having the children. There were nothing like videos, there was nothing. All these things were free, whereby you can even post things right now and then. There's nothing like that. The only means that we actually used in terms of just pictures was very limited. Apart from that, there was all those things were not there. But now, I want to say, God is so merciful. The very same camera, or the very same phone, which was all the rubbish in the world, it has also got the best things, depends on what you want to do. You can use the very same thing to spread the gospel. And you know the beauty of this is you can actually target a certain group, a certain community, even your friends and whoever it is, and then you are able to interact. And it's so fast, it's right there and then. And then it can also be what we call ubiquitous. In other words, it can reach so many people at the same time. So that's the advantage that we have. So I'm encouraging young people, let's use these platforms. There's Twitter, there's Facebook, there's TikTok, whatever you can use. I know when you look at all things, you find so negative things, but it can also be positive things. I've seen positive things in there. Dwell on the positive. And you'll be surprised how many people will want into the kingdom because you've been able to tell them about the saving knowledge of Jesus Christ.
Wow, thank you so much, Dr. Chembo, for joining me this afternoon. to those that have been watching us. I am your interviewer, Kasamba Matiola, and it has been my pleasure that you watched this video. Just as he has advised the young people, especially, let us use social media for positive things. If others can use social media negatively, then you can make a difference and use it positively, because it is going to save a soul somewhere, somehow. And with this short interview, I say, may God bless you and have a lovely day.
Journalist, that's all you want to do.